Okay, perfect. So I should start?
Yes, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to know that I created the Global Collaboration Institute with a group of experts from around the globe, following articles I wrote. And these articles were actually following experience I had during the COVID times, during which I was a coach for the European Commission, embarking staff of the European Commission in very important conversations with experts, people coming from different perspectives, different backgrounds, to share their insights about how the world was changing in the light of this crisis, other crises. And, we are in a state of a perma crisis where we live crisis after crisis, sometimes crisis at the same time. And so we were, trying to understand what were the changes, the transitions we needed to operate, and the transformations actually that our world was needing from the institutions for which I was working this European, project. And following this experience, I understood that most of the ideas that we were getting were coming from people in the center. So people who find actually comfort in the current system in which we live. And so I developed this article, online to make people aware that in order to find the right solutions faced with the problems that we were all living, the only way was to actually embark people from the peripheries. People that were, and when I say peripheries, there's no domination at all in that terminology. It's actually the fact that there are people who have been living in the center, taking decisions for others, and these people in the peripheries are, citizens like you and I, in a sense that we don't contribute to the decisions that, create in a way the future we are gonna all live. And so when I say peripheries, it's a terminology from Hannah Arendt, we were saying that it's those who suffer from the problems that can actually come with the solutions that are more adapted to this problem, because they are called to survive. It's like the water crisis. Those who live the water crisis have better chance to develop great solutions because they are living it. And so their wisdom is missing. Today at the center, and this has been my realization, and this is the reason why we developed this Global Collaboration Institute, also following all the research I have done in the world of collaboration. Because from as soon as I started in the European project, I was passionate about collaboration. I worked for the European School of Administration. I co-led very important initiatives, in terms of collaboration in the project. And I was always surprised that the essence of it is actually collaboration. But it's exactly collaboration that is the most difficult to achieve. And you can see that in most organizations. And so we invented, with all these experts from the Institute, and I hope I'm clear.
Yes, I'm.
You follow me, okay? Because
Yes,
it's
I am.
massive. You
It's
have no
really
idea. It's
interesting.
so massive what we are trying to do. So, with these experts, we try to create a framework that will allow us to identify the necessary ingredients, but also the necessary phases through which people would need to go through to move from a state of, let's say, isolation to a state of collaboration. And actually, what we want to do is to create a very healthy collaborative culture in our world, so that those in the center that take decision feel like embarking those in the peripheries, as I was saying, and those in the peripheries feel like speaking up, because, it's Socrates who was saying that everybody is an expert, Aristotle. But anyway, everybody is an expert in nature. And what's important is that people understand also in the peripheries that it's not because they have been there without a voice for so many years. It's not because they have been there that they don't have something to share. And from all our labs over the past year and a half, we went to different organizations, we went to different, to address different topics, etc. And every time we were incorporating our meta collaboration framework, so both behavioral and structural. And every time we could see the amazing outcomes coming from this experience. And every time also we could see how quickly we can make people at ease, speaking up, those from the peripheries and those from the center, making them also at ease to listen to perspective that they are not used to. And there's something I can go on. So maybe you want to interrupt me.
No, in fact, I was really enjoying the conversation. Really, I want you to go on,
Good.
but if you want me to interrupt, I would. I want to come up with a question. Um, if you look at the world today, we have a lot of global issues from poverty, climate change, from wars and insecurity, and it is quite necessary that at this moment in time where the global order is kind of changing, um, collaboration. It's the main way. It's collaboration is the approach in which we can use to solve global issues. So I want to find out because I did some research about meta collaboration as you sent to me. I went to Google and said meta collaboration. I was trying to find out what is it because, as I said, it's a relatively new term to me. And all what I could get about meta collaboration was about maybe meetings from Meta, the company, Facebook. You know what you say? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's what I could get. So I'm really eager to hear you explain what is meta collaboration all about, and what is this framework you're talking about? How does it fit into society, and how can we use it to solve societal problems?
Yeah, sure. So you see, we're not very good at communication yet because you have to know we operated a lot behind the scenes because
Oh,
it's not I mean, we don't want to threaten anybody. We believe that we all have a good seat around the table,
mm,
and we don't want, all these things about Elon Musk and, disrupting everything, etc. It's not really, I mean, we are aligned with a mission that is to embark every perspective. So we believe that the diversity unites us,
mm,
which means that the more we have diversity around the table, the better and the smarter we can be as a society.
wow,
So we didn't want to be put in a box. We are living in a very polarized society. People tend to put a sticker on your face as soon as you want to change the world, and we want to change the world. Yes, we have this ambition. We believe that meta collaboration can change the world. So let me explain how it can do it.
please do.
And I will explain you in a way that is I'm trying to make it very concrete. So all through all my experience.
Okay.
So you have to know that there is first a structural framework that is a group of 11 ingredients that collaboration needs so that people feel they don't lack and they move from a state of scarcity to a state of abundance. It means that collaboration nowadays, the way it was implemented was not as an art. People used to make collaboration like, okay, from now on, we are going to collaborate to this project. And all of you, I want you in, but me, the one who is calling for the collaboration, I will decide what I pick from you, from your brain. And actually, from the start, I know exactly what I want to achieve by the end of the day. Collaboration, it means that you start with a fuzzy purpose. You don't know what at the end of the day you will find. It's a journey. It's a journey that you're starting, but it's a journey with an end, which means that the people you gather around the table at some point, they will separate again. Collaboration is something like an instant, right? But it's an instant that requires the necessary ingredients for people to feel good in it, not so that they feel the pressure. Oh, we can hear baby.
I think it's Catherine joining in. Catherine, hello.
Yeah, I think we hear a little baby in the
Yeah,
background.
good evening. Let me mute my mic.
Yeah, sure. Hello, Catherine.
Microphone.
No, you can say hello, please. You can say hello already. So we go on. Catherine, are you there?
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know what. Yeah, I'm trying to mute my microphone.
I'll do that for you here. Let me see if I could do that. Yeah, you're muted now, but you're welcome to the program. I'll just let Julie finish your point, then you can come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julie, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So it's just that, so you need 11 ingredients so that people can feel whole into this experience. And because they will feel whole, they will feel complete, they will feel they belong to this collaborative project, and they will enjoy it from the moment we started to the moment we end it. And it won't give frustrations, it won't give, all this discomfort from this gathering experience. And some of these ingredients are, for instance, mobilizing the brain, how the brain and the heart and the hands work together, how we can make this collaboration, very successful for people. So we equip people to deal with these ingredients. Some ingredients are the rubber band. The rubber band is how we can manage, the intention, attention, and tension combination and things like that. So it's quite complex, but I'm happy to explain it in further details when you have questions. So that's the structural framework. That's the necessary ingredients so that people feel whole, enjoy the journey, and you make at the end of the day the best, outcomes. Right. The second part of the framework is the behavioral framework, and it's actually 5 stages through which people have to go. The first stage is the stage of awakening that without collaboration, actually, we cannot solve the complex issue of poverty. But it's not only that, it's also if you focus on poverty, you will amplify it. So what do we need to focus on? We need to focus on problems, or we need to focus on solutions? And we make the shift, in that phase from, being focused on the problems that we amplify, and instead focus on the solution that, we need to amplify. And that's the second phase where we embark people in my laboratories, in my classes, etc., in a wild phase. But you need to know it's not linear, so everything can be done in parallel. But the second phase is wildness. We will need amazing ideas. We need big dreams. We need people to no longer be shy and to be willing to share the most stupid and crazy ideas they have for the world, because only those who are crazy can change the world. So that's the second phase. And of course, we have a lot of exercise and tools to embark people in this wild journey. But being wild is not enough. Once you have the big dreams, it's actually very sometimes disturbing to have big dreams, because you feel, but how will I make it happen? What do I need, as the third phase? After the white phase, what do I need to do to make it happen? My dreams, and related, for instance, to poverty. And this is how we embark people in a journey of wiring with others. I did identifying the strengths in others, identifying the weaknesses in ourselves, so that instead of focusing on what I cannot accomplish by myself, I focus on developing the right partnerships with others that can complement myself. And you shift the perspective from my limitations to what we can accomplish all together. And so that's the third phase. The fourth phase is the phase of wisdom. Is what are the concepts, the stories, the narrative, the tools, what do we need to mobilize in the first stage? And usually this is when we equip them with the structural framework of meta-collaboration. This is where we inject all the lessons about the meta-collaboration framework. And then, following wisdom, what actually our civilization needs is maturity. It's getting mature, mature to speak about the problems in a collaborative manner. Because as I say, what we want is to create that healthy collaborative culture that we can, we can mobilize groups, communities, people, self-organized team whenever we want. Whenever a problem emerge, whenever a crisis emerge, we can deal with it in an instant, a month, 2 months, if we mobilize crowds from around the globe. So that's really the concept of it. And so maturity, what means maturity is that once you reach a stage of wisdom, you need also to anchor all of that. You need to ground yourself. You need to end the collaborative journey. As I say, there's a beginning and there's an end. Because how many collaborative projects do we see that are there, still living, but they don't have a purpose anymore? You don't know what they still exist. Yeah. So as a human being, we have to have this, this skill to mobilize communities, mobilize peoples, and then dismantle these communities to create new ones. This agility. And this is what we need. We need a culture of agility. And so the maturity is actually grounding ourselves, anchoring ourselves. And this is the phase what we call wrapping up. And wrapping up, what does it mean? It means we want to give gifts to the next generation, to people like you, because I'm older than you. And actually what I want, and I'm a mummy, I have 2 kids, like Catherine, I see your mummy. And I started this journey for my kids, because I said, what's the world we are giving them? It's a crazy world, upside down. And we see the train, it's not going better. We know we are going to a wall if we don't change the way we operate. It's not that our leaders, they don't care about us. I think they care a lot about us. But the problem is they don't manage to mobilize us. When they try, we don't respond because we feel we don't have a voice, as I was saying in the beginning. We don't have this culture of, we can do it. We can solve the issue. I continue?
Yes, please. I'm really enjoying your conversation. I'm having chills right now. I'm telling you, it's really a new concept I'm learning about, and I just love learning new things. So I'm just enjoying the way you're talking. Just go ahead, please.
Sure. So, I went to a course at the European Commission for leaders around climate change. I was surrounded by people who would manage this crisis, for the European Commission. And we know, you live it, more than us in Africa, but we know we have to do something. And in a sense, the message I was getting was it's impossible to solve the complex issues of climate change or whatever you want to call it, because we cannot mobilize ourselves. We cannot mobilize societies around the complex issues. We saw this with poverty. We saw this with a number of crises. When I heard this, as a mom, I was desperate. I thought, what? I've studied collaboration all my life. I'm passionate about collaboration, and you're telling me that there's no way we can learn as a society to collaborate to address the complex issues? You cannot, in Africa, decide for your fate, wake up, stand up, taking the challenges one by one. You have to let people escape from your continent and find another path. Everybody knows that Africa is a gold mine. Everybody knows it except you. So I think, all these things, for me, that makes me crazy in a gentle world. But the fact that people get richer, wealthier, crisis after crisis, as if a crisis was a gift for some and a disaster for many. How can this happen? And so, I was in this course, and this is the reason why I decided, okay, if someone has to try, let's try. I'm going everywhere. For the past 4 years, I've tried everywhere to mobilize people. The response is so slow. It's so little. It's so sometimes disappointing, right? Because who I am, you search for me, and who I am, you didn't find. because we don't get support. Why? I mean, it's a real question. Why we don't get support? Why the youth in Africa doesn't get support to create their fate? What's happening there? What's happening there? Is there a gap that is increasing between people from the top and people from the bottom? Do we have so many issues all the time? As if, it was like a circus. Someone is projecting a movie with crises one after the other. So, and also you have all these, moments like political elections, etc., that mobilize everyone. But the crises, they continue. I mean, we continue to get hit at the same time as a citizen. So when will we stop that circus and do the right thing for good? I mean, let's not wait when something doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, sure.
Let's fix the issues one by one by focusing on the solutions. I mean, now we have the framework. I can tell you, wherever I go, I see the framework is working. Today, I'm contributing to create virtuous ecosystems in a bigger organization in Belgium. I see the feedback. I see how much people, when you hear the desperate, the people getting desperate at the moment, I want to shake them up and I want to tell them, who is this coming from? I mean, where is this coming from? This perspective that we should be desperate. It's the opposite. We should take one challenge after a challenge. And on the contrary, there's an amazing energy in our world, and I see it. Citizens want to contribute. They don't want to get imposed a worldview on them, especially a worldview that is negative. They want to contribute to these virtuous ecosystems, as I was mentioning. But for that, we shouldn't forget the human factor. And meta-collaboration is actually what I call, maybe it's too much. You will say it's too much, but for me, it's like a love formula. It's like when you inject it into something, it amplifies the human factor. It makes the well-being of each amplified by the collective and not constrained. So you as an individual, you become whole because you understand how you function better because I equip you with the structural framework. But also you understand that the collective is not a constraint, is on the contrary an enabler. Like your negative emotion, like your anxieties are enablers. When I make all these experience in my courses and I provoke people because I try to make them, leave their body, exist, leave your body, get out of this limitation, all this bias that you have, your beliefs that you have, and they get you stuck. Change your belief, change your belief, right?
Yeah,
We need
sure.
new ones. I think if you want to change the culture of our society to a collaborative one, we need new beliefs.
Sure.
New beliefs that the collective is amplifying us. You know that in Europe, I think that in the past 50 years, there has not been a single regulation that was there to amplify people. It's all about constraining us. So we talk about freedom all the time, but I don't think we are taking that path. I don't want to blame anyone. It's just maybe we are scared. We're just scared about the future because the signs are not good. Yes, the signs are not good. It means we have to do something. But I was saying in my courses, I provoke people. I try to make them go out of their bodies. And each time I see three kinds of reaction. The first one is the escape. I'm going on my phone. I don't want to contribute because what is she saying? I don't want to contribute to that. She's special. She's an utopian. I don't want. So the first thing they do, they take their screen, and we know that a lot of people escape behind their screens at the moment. Yeah? In my age, it was behind the screen of smoke. Nowadays, it's behind the telephone, but it's the same. All right, it's the same effect that you're looking for. You want to hide yourself behind something. And so it's interesting. You have this first reaction, they go to their phone or they try to hide. The second reaction is those that become a bit angry. What is she saying? I don't agree. No, I don't want her to impose her worldview on me. I have a different faith that I follow. And you have the third group. And the third group is those that have the appetite for the challenge, that want to join, that want to play the game, right? They want to, and this group is the majority every time. The majority, right? So imagine, instead of doing that in a little classroom, we were doing this experience at the global level.
Sure.
I can tell you the majority of people at the global level will react the same way, which means that only a very little minority would escape behind the screens. A little minority would get angry and want to destroy everything. And the third group would be the majority, and they would start to do things, do the right things, being benevolent, because I think our society has become quite intolerant. You know, at the same time, we are virtuous. We preach the good lessons, the good behaviors and so on. But at the same time, we are very rigid and psycho-rigid and intolerant about anything, And that's why we need the rubber band strategy, where we manage better the tension, right, in our system. But anyway, so that's a bit the spirit. I hope you followed me everywhere.
Of course. In fact, we are going to need a whole. In fact, you were talking, and I was thinking, why don't we do a training on meta collaboration, which is going to be, I mean, long term. I mean, that's something we could work on maybe after this. Because
Absolutely, I'm doing it all the time. So, for instance, in 2 days, I'm in Strasbourg doing a session about collaboration there. So, it's something I can definitely do for you. I would be very honored to help you. You need to know I have contacts in Africa because I believe a lot that Africa is actually the future, and we need to invest in it. So, I'm very happy to train people around meta collaboration there as well. And Europe is also the future. I still believe in Europe very much. So yeah, everywhere I want to go and spread the good vibes. I think we need wings.
Sure. Okay, I want to get to something final before we wrap up the discussion. You sent me an article about meta collaboration and education, and you talked about the approach of meta collaboration in education. I just want you to give I was really interested by the article, so but I want a clarification in it because I will be sharing this article with those who are attending and maybe to the wider audience around the world. I just want you to give a more clarification on what meta collaboration and the framework of education in which you work on.
So it means that the way I create the education experience, the pedagogical experience with meta collaboration is to empower people because I believe that I was saying that we are all experts in nature. So what I'm trying to do with this framework is to make the learning emerge from the people, so that they are no longer students, but actually co-leaders in the classroom. And I use a lot of tools like stories, but also missions that I give them, so that they create small undertakings and they have to, be in competition with each other, but also developing their collaborative skills during the program, because competition is actually good for collaboration. So we know we have a lot of beliefs, but actually competition is also very good. We need to stay a competitive culture as well. It's not in opposition. We shouldn't be naive. And so meta collaboration allows my students to become entrepreneurs, to develop these entrepreneurial skills that they will mobilize after throughout their lives, throughout their career. I put them, I like to say that I put them on a launch pad. So and you need to know that how meta collaboration works is something that you add to anything. It's not something that replaces. It's like the cherry on the cake. It's something you add instead of the cap. We have on our head. We add a cherry, and the cherry contains ingredients. So these courses, for instance, on finance, on marketing, on whatever topic, are amplified by meta collaboration. Because the learners, they are no longer passive, they become active. And what I have as a result, they want to learn more. Most of the time, I get students that were very bad in school, that didn't like school. It was not for them. And they chose a different path. They chose to work with their hands, and instead of their brain. And meta collaboration develops their brain. They
Wow.
develop their appetite for learning. And I can tell you, they cannot imagine how much they learn through the courses when I add meta collaboration. I mean, it's shift. It's a major shift, which means that if we were incorporating meta collaboration into the world of education, we wouldn't find the same result that we see today. That we build an elite throughout the years at school. It's like we create an elite because only those, in a way, most of the majority of the students that succeed, right, at school, that develop a great career path, are those who had help from their parents, because the school alone is not enough to teach them everything they have to learn. And so with meta collaboration, you make everyone an active learner in the classroom. Everyone. You don't grow an elite.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Let me just interject with this question. If you look at the world today with all the issues going around, I want to ask you personally, do you feel hopeful for the world? And what do you think it's the role of meta collaboration in making the world better, if you're hopeful, by the way? That's your opinion. Please, we have lesser time, so maybe 2 minutes, 1 minute for the answer.
Okay, good. So the first, yes, I'm very helpful. Absolutely. I live in a world of abundance. I think it's better for my health.
Okay.
So, and I think we should also all adopt this perspective from now on, because it's actually everything is in our brain. Everything is in our brain. I mean, in the sense that a brain is a box, it's a cage, or is the place where you can start, a beautiful journey. But you follow your heart, and then you make the brain work with the heart. And I think we all want to join hands. I think there's something inside of us that we want our bodies to join. We believe that that's the way to go. In our hearts, we have a lot of hope because we know that humankind is able to fix the problem, is able, to adapt, to create something better, to master who we are and all the violence and something like, and all of this. And I think the brain can be this open door, right? And if we start to imagine, to dream, to dream instead of being in this scarcity mode that we cannot do anything. So whenever my life became tough, what I was making was dreaming, imagining a reality that was better. And I think when reality becomes tough, that's what we need to learn as a society, to imagine a better reality. So I'm very hopeful, and I believe meta collaboration with this framework can actually contribute, yes, to a much, much better world.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, we on the 3 minutes, and I would have loved to hear more from you, but I hope after this conversation we'll continue. Maybe maybe organize all more sessions and maybe get more training. I would really like
Yes.
to work with you on a project like that. And I want us to end the program here. Catherine, you have something to say? I see you joined in with Christabel Kibon. You're welcome to the program. You joined in late, but we had quite a lot. There'll be a recording available. I mean, it was quite insightful. Thank you very much, Julie, for your
Thank
insights.
you. Thank you so much.
Who wants to say something? Catherine, you want to say something? We have under 1 minute. Christabel? Okay, without that, Julie, I want to thank you very much. You have any last remarks? Maybe 1 minute before we close?
But I mean, I hope we can continue. I mean, you have to know that in wherever I go, people tell me, what can we do for global collaboration, and I don't have the answer. I really don't know, because I'm just doing it. So I invite people to do it,
Sure.
and if you want my courses, if you want to know better, if you want to learn, if you want to ask me question, I'm always available.
Okay.
So I think that we need to make the ball roll, I won't tell you you have to do this. It's all about collaboration. It's all about empowerment. It's all about co-leadership. So if people want to know better about meta collaboration, I'm happy to prepare everything for them. But then they will continue the journey without me, right? We are
Honestly.
just the platform, the Global Collaboration Institute. We are not the teachers. We are
Okay.
just sharing what we learned happily and ever after.
Okay, thank you very much, thank you immensely. I mean, I'm really grateful for your time and for all your insight and everything. So I'm looking forward to continue this connection with you and continue on better collaboration, as we say. And for any other person who joined in on the program, thank you. I'll be making this record available because I'm telling you, I'm quite impressed. I'm quite overloaded with all the knowledge you imparted, and I really want to keep this as a record. So thank you again, and hopefully I'll be seeing you over the next edition or something. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for everyone who joined in. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Catherine.
Please, can
Bye-bye,
I
everyone.
say something? I just
Yes,
came
please.
back.
You have under 1 minute, please.
Um,
1 minute.
okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
30
I am
seconds.
Julie. I'm so happy to see you.
Me too. Nice to see you.
How are you doing?
Great. Thank you.
All right. So I'll keep you guys connected after the program, okay?
Thank
All
you
right.
so
All
much.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I don't know if you're getting me. I have a little
Yeah.
question.